Hey everyone, and welcome to this special RGV aerial photography production, based entirely around the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. One of our valued members conducted a flyover on our behalf on January 19th with nearly the same model of camera and exact lens as we used down at Starbase, Texas. In this episode we'll see some images of the SLS rocket Artemis II, have a quick look at the Falcon 9 launch pad at 39A, cover the adjacent Starship launch site with all its similarities with Starbase, and then fly over to the Roberts Road site and the Gigabay. My name's Jeff A, and I'll be your guide as we dive deep into these areas of KSC, so sit back and enjoy the ride. For the first time in 53 years, NASA is gearing up to send astronauts beyond low Earth orbit on a path around the Moon with Artemis II. This crucial test will send the crew of 4, Commander Reed Wiseman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Cook, and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen, further from Earth than any humans before, extending more than 230,000 miles from Earth and flying approximately 4,600 miles beyond the far side of the Moon. The Artemis II mission will last roughly 10 days and will put the Orion capsule through its paces, testing life support, propulsion, navigation, communication and thermal control systems, as well as the performance of the European service module that powers and sustains Orion during its mission. This mission will demonstrate critical capabilities such as proximity operations with a key docking simulation, using the spent SLS upper stage as a target, practicing manoeuvres and handling qualities essential for future rendezvous, plus docking with vehicles like the Human Landing System, as well as high-speed re-entry and heat shield performance under extreme conditions. The crew will also conduct science investigations, gathering data on radiation effects, biological responses, and observations from the unique vantage point to inform future missions. On January 17th, the SLS rocket was rolled to the pad where it will undergo a wet dress rehearsal to ensure all the systems are working prior to launch, which is currently scheduled for February 6th. Here's an impressive image from the flyover of it standing on the pad. Before we take in the rapidly progressing Starship pad, let's first look over the rest of pad 39A, which services Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. Atop the pad, the Transport Director is resting idle. With several Falcon Heavy launches on the manifest for 2026, the pad isn't expected to launch Falcon 9 soon. At the base of the ramp is the Falcon Horizontal Integration Building. On the opposite side of the site is the Liquid Oxygen Tank Farm. Next to the pad are the RP-1 propellant tanks. Like many of SpaceX facilities, Tesla Megapacks are a common power backup. Recently, the first 16 packs have been installed, with pads prepared to double that capacity. Adjacent is one of the many staging locations for the Starship pad construction. Many of the protective cladding panels are here, including 2 stacks of tower cladding. GSE bunker cladding and the angled wing wall support columns are staged in several areas. The 2 large blast doors for the bunker are near some of the green deluge pipes. 12 of the hold-down arm doors are near one of the piles of cladding. The 2 BQD hoods are also staged alongside the 2 main propellant valve sleds that will be installed in the ground level of the bunker. Now moving to the Starship side of 39A, let's begin at the launch mount. Clamp arm installation has recently begun. At the time of the flyover, the 7th arm was being installed. 2 of the arms in this image still have the lifting attachment points installed from being used to place the mount over the trench. Next to the methane quick disconnect, speed call wall panels are being installed along the slope to the mount. Unlike the walls at Starbase, it appears that the panels to each side of the mount will be filled with concrete once all the panels are installed. In this view, the dewatering system can be seen along both sides of the trench, with the collecting water being pumped into a frac tank for further processing. Turning to this view of the other side, the expected depth of the flame trench is evident in this row of wall extension panels. Due to the added height of the launch tower base and Tower 2 at Starbase, 39A and Pad 1 at Starbase require the launch mount to have a lower height relative to the grade of the SQD to be at the correct height. The steel embeds and concrete surface of the flame trench have yet to be fitted with its steel cladding. Systems in the GSE bunker are progressing well. In the middle, electrical conduits lead toward the ground level but remain to be connected to services. The main locks and methane supply pipe connections extend through the floor in the same locations as Starbase. Around the flame trench, 4 additional clamps are staged, and maybe some of the clamps seen installed since this flyover. The 2 BQD front hoods are staged for installation once the quick disconnect carriages are installed. To the other side of the LR11000, the angled valley cladding piece that protects the area between the methane quick disconnect hood and the flame trench wall can be seen. Nearby, the gusset doublers used to reinforce the upper levels of the launch tower are staged for installation, just as we've seen on the previous towers. Moving to the launch tower, the first part of the SQD arm was recently installed. Like Tower 2 at Starbase, it's connected to the lower set of attachment points, with the upper set expected to be utilised when the taller version 4 booster goes into production. Lower, at the chopsticks, the stabiliser arms are being installed. The left stick has the vertical element, but missing the angled actuator. Plenty of scaffolding remains installed for the structural improvements of the main tube frames. At the ends of each stick, preparation for the new bumper extensions is in progress. To the side of the tower, the associated tube sections can be seen. Nearby, the two bumper frames are also staged, although missing the bumpers. In this area, the structural support frame for the upgraded electrical boxes suspected to be part of the electrical actuators awaits installation. Further, at the base of the tower, the drawworks is installed on the left side under this protective scaffolding structure. The spool of cable is staged near the commodities trench for installation. On the back side of the flame trench, connections are being made to the two large water deluge pipes that supply the flame buckets and ridge. Next to some of the pipe racks, the ends of the remaining water pipes for the top deck, fire X and other unconfirmed systems are buried in concrete and capped off. Turning to the water deluge farm, this area is most like what's been installed at Pad 2 and Starbase. To the top of the image are the gas generator systems, including the vertical liquid nitrogen tanks and horizontal propellant tanks. To the other side of the pipe rack, the 9 control sleds for the gas generators are installed. Around this area, the manifolds for the generators as well as some of the pressure relief systems await installation. The 6 smaller tanks are in place, with pressurization manifolds being installed. To the left, only a single large tank is in place, with room for 3 more. That's 1 less in this system than at Starbase. Further to the left are the 2 water tanks for the various fire X systems. As we make our final pass along the remainder of the tank farm, near the tower, the 2 underground trenches for the tower and OLM commodities make their way to the end of the pipe racks. This area is stacked quite densely, with the isolation and purge equipment sandwiched between the 2 racks. The propellant lines pass around the side of the lower set of racks, as do the high pressure gas lines that feed the isolation and purge distribution. Next along the tank farm is the lock side of the farm. If you watch our Starbase episodes, these next 2 areas expand on the organisational advancement and take it up a notch, by having the available space to spread things out for ease of installation and maintenance. Beginning with the tanks, on the right are the massive lock storage tanks. Each tank uses 3 foundation stands for each end. 5 additional sets of foundations allow for a total of 9 tanks once complete. To the left side are the liquid nitrogen tanks, dedicated for use by the lock subcoolers. Foundations installed make room for a 3rd tank to be added to this side of the farm. Moving across the pipe racks, the far right side are the vaporizers used to pressurize the LOX tanks. Next are the 8 pairs of LOX pumps. These pump systems are the main difference from the Pad 2 pump farm at Starbase. These pump systems match the design change implemented in the LOX farm at the Massey's test site. Wrapping up this side of the tank farm are the subcoolers. Both sides of the farm feature the kettle-type reboilers, sometimes referred to as hippos, due to the large body at one end and a reduced size at the other. These LOX subcoolers are a massive upgrade. These methane units are the same size as the Starbase counterparts in both the original Pad 1 pump farm as well as some utilised in the Pad 2 system. This area has room for additional equipment. The left side is likely for the booster, using 4 subcoolers. The ship on the other side of the updraft vent is configured for 2. Moving to the methane side of the farm, we'll start at the subcoolers where the previously mentioned smaller units are used. Foundations indicate 5 on the left will be used for the ship and 8 on the right for the booster. The methane pump sleds revert to the single pump per system configuration. The middle row of these is where the pumps are located. Hardware has been installed on these 4 systems, but it is unclear if these are some kind of pump or just placeholder hardware for initial tests of the systems. The tank area for the methane farm features room for 5 of the larger tanks for methane. Adjacent is the pressurization system for these tanks. To the left, 2 of the smaller tanks sit, with room for a total of 5 liquid nitrogen tanks. To finish the tank farm, the spherical tank that dates back prior to SpaceX's lease of the launch site is also being used for liquid methane. Adjacent is a row of offload stations. The 6 ports on the left appear to be plumbed into the sphere, and the 4 on the right pass under the sphere and likely run to the pipe racks toward the horizontal tanks. Finally, the electrical bunker is positioned near the pump area of the farm. This large white building appears to house all the power systems. This courtyard surrounded by the building appears to have conduit risers for the transformers used to step the incoming power down to the appropriate voltage. Now finally, let's take a look at the Roberts Road site, as this facility will be a key component of Starship operations at Cape Canaveral. At the Gigabay, crews started constructing the framework for the 4th level on the western side, while the tower cranes on the eastern side are working on the 3rd level. Some of the floors have had concrete poured, which answers the often asked question of whether this will happen during the actual construction phase or not. 3 gangways have been placed across these gaps to allow crew to move between the sections. More steel frame parts are staged on both sides and at the back of this site. To the northwest of the Gigabay, materials and equipment for the exterior cladding can be seen arriving. An LR1300 is in its early stages of assembly, likely for use in cladding installation. Looking at the hardware for Slick 37, all 9 modules of the orbital launch integration tower are constructed, with some modules receiving minor work on the catch arm rails and internal plumbing ahead of their roll to the launch complex. We expect this to happen in about 8 to 10 weeks once the tower base is finished. Both chopsticks and their carriage are staged, with reinforcements being applied. This modification allows for booster and ship catches to be conducted without compromising their integrity. After this process concludes, they will be painted. Over at Starbase, Texas, both Pad 1 and Pad 2 chopsticks had the same upgrades. Under one of the tents, we can see the SQD extension arm for Slick 39A being worked on. It is still at an early stage, with some pressure bottles added and pressure lines staged nearby. With it being the same design as its counterpart in Starbase, we expect a similar work and rollout time. Nearby, the 2 carriages for the BQDs are waiting for further fit-out, with their linkage parts staged outside the tent. There are 2 of the OLM water deluge plates staged inside also. Adjacent to the launch pad assembly area is SpaceX's Hangar X, where Falcon 9 boosters are integrated with the 2nd stage as well as refurbished after flight. A 1st stage booster is parked in front of the building prior to refurbishment. The building on the west side is Hangar X2. Once planned to be the Star Factory, it was converted to a payload integration building for Starlink at the front and supports Starship tile manufacturing in the rear. If you look closely under the roadside tent, you can still make out the foundation prepared for the Roberts Road Megabay, which ultimately made its way to Starbase and assembled to become Megabay 2. Well, that's all for this special RGV aerial photography update from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. We hope you all enjoyed all the sights as well as seeing all the similarities with the systems at Starbase, Texas. If you liked what you saw, please consider a like, comment and subscription for more content on the SpaceX Starship program. I'm Jeff A and hope to see you all again soon. In the meantime, keep your eye out for the regular Starbase update video due for release later in the week.